The sun shines through my curtains and across my face. I keep my eyes shut and turn over in my bed, trying to force myself back asleep. But the more I try to return to sleep, the more awake I become. What time is it? My clock flashes 6:30. Still have another half an hour before my alarm goes off. I should go back to sleep. I curl deeper into my blankets, but soon get bored. The only time I ever naturally wake up this early is when I have jet lag. I'm not sure if this is a blessing or a curse. I guess I may as well get ready. I quickly change into my uniform and head downstairs. To an empty kitchen. It's weird being the first one up. Usually Nikki is doing her thing in the kitchen. I'll catch up on some reading while I wait for her. She should be up soon anyway. I pull up the news app on my phone. Front page doesn't have anything too interesting. Until I spot an article on Illudian Enterprises. Illudian Enterprises has officially announced their intentions to sponsor an up-and-coming team in the coming war games. The rapidly expanding R&D company is gaining a lot of attention in the field of xenorobotics, and they're putting pressure on established innovators such as Vector Industries and Paragon Weaponry. Much of their success can be attributed to CEO Donny Roos, who was a top graduate in the pilot program at Ace Academy, and a visionary when it comes to modern and functional designs for gear. I don't think I've heard of these guys before. Must be a local company who hasn't quite expanded to the States yet. Sounds like they're making a name for themselves though. The time on my phone reads 6:57. I listen for any signs of life upstairs, but the house is still. I better grab something to eat before I need to go. Doesn't seem like Nikki's coming down anytime soon. My phone flashes to the next article. A headline on Dashu. That should be good. I push the button shaped like a film projector on the bottom of the page, and the text projects on the near surface. Then I place my phone in a dock on the table so the text shines on the kitchen table. I grab a couple of slices of bread and stick them in the toaster. As I wait for my toast to finish, I sit at the table and read the article. Kanaku Dishtaru, CEO of Dashu, made an unscheduled appearance on the memorial service yesterday for Yudai Misaki. A year ago, the community was shocked by the unexpected death of Ace Academy's most promising pilot. The family was honored that their mighty mogul took the time to show his respects to their son, and concurrently postponed the unveiling of Dashu's new line of energy drinks. The introduction has been rescheduled to take place next week.
What are you reading?
Ah! I jump in surprise and nearly fall off my chair as I try to turn towards her. She looks at me strangely.
Jeez, what's your problem?
You scared me.
Why? Were you looking at hentai or something?
What? No, of course not. She laughs at my horrified expression and walks past me.
I know. You're reading the news. I can see it on the table. Boring. You know that makes you officially old, right? Only old people read the news for fun.
Nikki glanced at my toasts, which had popped up while we were talking.
Your toast is burned.
What? I leap out of my chair and stand beside her. It's not burnt. She flips it over to reveal a dark side of charcoal. Oh.
You're so hopeless. How did you survive in college without me?
I ate in the cafeteria.
That explains it.
She throws away the toast and pulls out 2 yogurts from the fridge.
Well, since you botched breakfast, we'll have to make do with a quick snack if you don't want to be late.
I accept the yogurt she hands me and we both finish them in record time. Then we grab our things and head out to the door.
Are you able to give me a ride today? The bus yesterday was so crowded.
I look a bit sheepish. Sorry, Nikki, my bike is still at school.
Why?
Well, because it was impounded. Nikki raises an eyebrow.
What did you do?
I'm not going to tell her about the fight, so I think up a quick excuse. I just parked in the wrong way. Nothing big. I'll get the bike back today. The office was closed by the time I tried to grab it. Nikki snorts.
Why am I not surprised you managed to get in trouble on your first day?
If she only knew. You know me.
Okay. I guess I'll see you tonight then.
He waves and heads towards the bus stop. I do the same. At least it's a nice day to be waiting for the bus. The stop is a bit crowded. I lean up against the shelter as I wait. The bus squeals to halt in front of me only a few minutes after my arrival. I follow the other passengers on, scan my ID, and search the rows for a free seat. I settle into the first seat I find and grumble as a large man sits down beside me, crushing me against the window. I can already imagine how enjoyable this ride will be. Luckily, it isn't a long ride and I'm at school before I can complain too much. I pull up the schedule on my phone and check my first class. Gear Arsenal 201. Building isn't too far away either. I soon reach the building. The classroom is about half the size of the lecture hall for my Piloting 101 class. For some reason, this is a comfort to me, probably because it reminds me of the class size and CNY. I take a seat near the back of the room just as the professor enters.
Good morning, class. Welcome to Gear Arsenal 201. I'm sure you're all tired of hearing the same welcome spiel, so I won't even bother with it. Instead, we're going to drive straight into the material. Question: who can name one of the leading companies in gear weapon manufacturing?
I think we read it in the news today, right? Paragon Weaponry. Before I have a chance to answer, another student chimes in.
Vector Industries!
Sorry, incorrect.
Paragon Weaponry.
Very good.
Why isn't it Vector?
Vector deals with thrusting and maneuverability, whereas Paragon deals with weaponry. Hence the name Paragon Weaponry. Their recent area of study has shown that
He goes into the details of Paragon Weaponry's R&D and the future of beam weaponry for the remainder of class.
That's all the time we have for today. You'll find this week's readings and assignments on your web link. Have a good day.
Students scramble to collect their things before hurrying out of the room. I think I'll go back to the hangar. This class has inspired me to go over and have a proper look at my gear. I take the path to the pilot's lounge and follow the tunnels until I reach my gear. Pulling down the ladder beside my docking station, I climb up to the top, which is about level with the chest section of my robot. I unlock the chest cavity. With a mechanical rod, it splits open and separating panels, revealing a lowered seat. I easily hop into the seat and breathe in the comforting scent of metal and plastic. It faintly reminds me of a new car smell. Once I'm settled, I trigger the closing sequence. As the chest panels return, my seat scoops me further into my gear until I'm nestled in the darkness of the cockpit. I initiate the boot up sequence. Cockpit glows a faint red, then flickers into life, and I can't help but smile at the familiarity of it all. The bright glow of the panels illuminate the interior, until there isn't a trace of a shadow left. Statistic blinks around me in a series of rapid numbers and diagrams.
Gear initialization sequencing complete.
The familiar voice of my gear feels like a warm welcome from an old friend. Eagle, please run a comprehensive check.
System in progress.
Nothing to do now but wait. The lights along my display pulse with changing colors as the check progresses. It flows through warm colors. Red, orange, yellow, before illuminating the cockpit with a bright green.
All system functions normal. Unknown docking station detected.
Register the current dock as home station.
Completed. Recommendation. Please update system calibration configuration.
This is recommended all the time. Whenever we change locations, Eagle requests a recalibration of the system. Even the slightest difference in air pressure can trigger an inaccuracy. At least the process is easy. All I have to do is make sure I correctly follow a sequential number order, so Eagle can achieve the necessary internal calculations. Alright, start up the process.
Calibration sequence initiating.
Give it a few minutes as Eagle automatically adjusts itself.
Calibration successful.
Perfect. Everything seems to be in order. After one last look, I shut down my gear and unlock the chest cavity again. Once I hop out, the panels slide back in place, until I hear the faint click of them locking. As I turn towards the elevator, I spot Sho waving at me. I nimbly make my way down and stand beside him.
Mr. Broseph!
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Is this your go-to hangout place? This is the second time I've run into you here.
I guess it's starting to be. What are you doing here?
I just thought I'd pay a visit to my gear. It helps when I keep her company for a bit. Keeps her spirits up.
Her? You mean a girl? Is there a girl you're keeping captive in your gear? Sho laughs.
If only. Unfortunately, no girl ever goes near my gear.
He sighs wistfully, while I try very hard to keep a straight face. I am so sorry.
Me too. So, what were you doing here?
Just checking to make sure everything's working fine.
And does it?
Yeah. He glances curiously at my gear.
How about a simulator match?
I shrug. It'd be nice to get a feel for how things are done at Ace. Sure.
We can both use the basic robot program. That way, all accessories and weapons will be the same, and it'll be based on skill alone.
May the best man win. He grins and races into the opposite direction. I see him pause by a green gear before I get back into my own. Once I'm settled in the cockpit, I switch on the open network configuration. Immediately, a request from Sho comes in, and I accept. After we're connected, we boot up our virtual training simulation program.
Oh, very fancy. I haven't seen an American-style gear up close before.
I experiment with my gear controls and watch in amusement as it makes the same movements within the simulator. Simulators are freakishly accurate at emulating the real thing, but it still can't quite replicate the feeling of live matches. You can't feel every impact or even the slightest shift in motion with the VTS.
As you can see, both of us are kitted with the same standard equipment. You have your energy shield for blocking, thrusters for movement, a ranged weapon, and a close combat weapon.
I evaluate my gear and find all the components he mentioned. Any particular reason why we aren't playing from our personal arsenal?
This will level the playing field. We'll have to win by skill alone.
Trying to see what I'm made of? Sho just grins.
Remember, you have to use the right tool at the right time. There's usually more than one right move you can make, but you have to think fast.
Alright, thanks. So the trick is to just react accordingly.
You got it! Are you ready?
Yup.
Let's do this.
My hands fall naturally into place and grip the controls. I can't stop the smile that spreads across my face as my heart beats faster in anticipation. I've missed this. Eagle shifts into a fighting stance and holds out his gun, while Sho activates his thrusters and points his double guns at me. Dodge! I dash out of the way and his attacks missed his mark. I equip one of my guns and return fire. He dodges. My shot still gales him and he takes some damage. As I boost forward, Sho moves back to keep the distance between us. He shoots again, but his aim is not accurate and I weave away. My gun in hand, I take aim and fire. My aim is true and Sho's shield shimmers as it absorbs the shot. Judging by how deep of a shimmer, it looks like he took a significant amount of damage. Since Sho lacks usually ranged weapons, I better close the distance and force him into a melee battle. I boost forward and slash. I switch to my sword mid-boost and swing the blade in a high arc. Sho tries to block with his guns and my sword lands on them with a loud crack. We struggle in a battle of wills, and sweat bats down my face. A loud roar escapes my lips as I channel my strength into my attack and break through Sho defense. Roar! As my sword falls through, Sho's gear goes dark. With the match over, I shut down my gear and get back on the ground. After a few minutes, Sho appears.
Not bad. I knew I made a good choice with you. I've got a sixth sense for these things.
Thanks. You're not so bad yourself.
Anyway, we'll want to meet up tomorrow before the qualifier to practice. So what's your number?
We quickly exchange numbers. So, I guess I should go and get some stuff done.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'll see you later then.
Let's go to the pilot's lounge. Seems interesting. Bye. I head back towards the pilot's lounge. So far, every time I've passed through the lounge, it has been full of students. I'm sure I'll either meet some cool or find some interesting to do there. When I enter the lounge, I'm surprised to see a crowd surrounding the bar. I can't make out anything intelligible from the jumble of words and voices. But it must be something big based on the sheer level of excitement in the room. Are they giving out free food? I force my way through the throng of people, much to the dismay of those beside me. Regardless, I ignore their protests and continue to make my through until I hear the pilots beside me mention something about an Akira. That sounds suspiciously like a person and not enough like a food. I turn towards the two girls I just overheard. Hey,
Hi?
what's an Akira?
I think you mean who is an Akira?
Oh, well, there goes my chance for a free lunch. I could have really used an onigiri right now too. Okay, who's Akira?
How do you not know who he is? He's only the top pilot at Ace.
And so nice, too.
Yeah, he listens to you when you talk and treats everyone like they're important.
Plus, he's a total dreamboat.
The first pilot blushes and her friend laughs. Right. But the qualifiers haven't happened yet. You mean from last year's rankings?
He's been a top pilot since his first year here.
Since first year?
Yep, he was on his team starting lineup.
So, what year is he now?
Third year.
They sigh wistfully. Suddenly the first student perks up and grabs her friend.
Oh, he just looked at me! Did you see that?
What? Why didn't he notice me?
As if on cue, a path forms amid the throng of people, and a male pilot with white hair and kind eyes walks through. He's laughing with the group of girls surrounding him. Our eyes meet for a second, his calm smile still intact. That can't be right. He must have recognized someone beside me and smiled at them. Regardless, after the departure of Akira and his group, the lounge feels quieter even though it's still full of students. Pilots turn back to whatever programs they were watching or order drinks at the bar. Others return to the games they were originally playing. I stand awkwardly on my own. I don't see anyone I recognize. Everyone seems to be intent on their own thing, so I decide to head home. Getting late anyways. The thought of riding the bus back home turns my stomach. If only I had my bike. I quickly check the time. Still a couple hours before closing. I can make it to the impound in time to get my bike back. I hustle to the parking lot and head straight for the security building. The same guard from before yawns as he watches a series of cameras. He glances at me as I approach and grunts in recognition.
Illegal Parker, you're back.
Yeah, I'd like to pick up my bike. He nods.
100 credits.
I'll give you 50 credits. I wire over 50 credits. His computer beeps in recognition of the transaction. The guard glances at the screen and scowls. I smirk at him. Keep the change.
What kind of crap is this? It's 100 credits.
Yeah, and I sent over the credits.
But you still owe another 50 credits.
Such a generous tip and you still want more?
I don't have time for your games.
Starts to turn away from me when I wire over another 50 credits. Jeez, loosen up. The computer beeps once the transaction has been approved and prints out a receipt. He offers it for me to sign and I do.
You've got to go to the lot.
The lot?
It's past the off-campus parking. There's a metal fence surrounding it. Even you won't be able to miss it.
He smirks at me. I try not to show my irritation. Thanks. I turn to leave, but he stops me.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What?
The passcodes.
He hands me a copy of the receipt. There are 2 series of numbers scribbled on there. All right. He points to one code, then the other.
Type this code to get into the impound, and type this code to get into the lock on your bike.
Got it, thanks. I leave quickly and head in the direction of the lot. Once I get close, I can easily spot the fence. There's an electronic lock on the gate. As I type in the passcode for the impound, I glance around, checking if there's a guard here, but I'm alone. The gate opens with a sharp screech, temporarily cutting a rift in the otherwise silent air, and I walk in. There are very few vehicles in the lot, and I almost immediately spot my bike. There's a wheel lock on my bike back tire, and I type the second code into the side panel. It flashes green and it unlocks with an echoing click. I eagerly wheel my bike out of the lock and back towards the gate. As I head out of the impound, I walk straight into the bully from yesterday, who's flanked on either side with 2 equally mean-looking guys. Uh-oh. Where the hell did you come from? I move my bike to the side before returning to face them. What are you doing here?
We've been waiting for you.
You mean, you've been here this whole time?
Shut up!
He motions for his friends, who slowly surround me. They loom over me and crack their knuckles ominously. 3 on 1? The odds are still in my favor. He swings at me and my legs become rooted to the ground as his fist connects with my stomach. I gasp for air as I try to ignore the throbbing pain in my belly and kick him in the ribs. He doubles over, but one of his friends hits me in the back. A sharp pain renders me temporarily immobile, but I manage to dive out of the way as the 2 lackeys charge at me. They try to avoid each other, causing one of them to run face first into the gate. He clutches his face, the blood pouring from his nose. The bully glares at me, his face contorted with rage. His leg comes steadily closer to my face, when suddenly somebody comes between us. He screams and falls to the ground as the new figure pushes his leg against the joint. One friend charges the newcomer, who blocks him with impossible speed. He strikes with precision and pelts the friend with a flurry of punches. The final fist to the jaw brings the attacker to his knees. "Look out!" The newcomer turns just in time to block the bully from striking him in the back of the head. Instead, he twists the bully's arm so he holds him a wrist lock. The bully yelps in pain and immediately freezes.
Let go of me!
He looks up and suddenly the color drains from his face.
Only if you promise to leave this guy alone.
His friends unsteadily climb to their feet and slowly back away.
Shit. Is that Akira?
Looks like it.
There's no way I'm getting tangled with him.
The bully speaks through gritted teeth.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
The newcomer lets go and the bully scrambles out of his reach. He collects his friends and leaves quickly.
Are you okay?
I take a good look at the guy. The white hair looks really familiar. He smiles at me, and the realization strikes me like a lightning. You're Akira!
Yep. And you're the new transfer student, right?
I blink in surprise. Oh, you've heard of me?
Sort of. I've heard of the American Gear.
Ah. I hope I don't sound rude. But what exactly are you doing here? He holds up a similar receipt to mine.
Picking up my bike.
Did you park illegally too or something? He laughs.
No, I actually have a parking pass.
Really? Then what's your bike doing in here?
It's kind of a long story, but you know that surly guard in the lot? He's had it out for me ever since I was a first year. I accidentally parked in a reserved spot without a pass, and it turned out to be his spot.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's never forgiven me for it. So every so often he claims there was a mix-up in the system or something, and my bike ends up in here.
And you let him get away with that? He laughs again.
I'm sure this unusual system glitch will be investigated at some point. Anyway, you okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine, thanks. And you?
I'm fine. I better get my bike and head home.
I nod and hop on my bike. Thanks again for stepping in. I owe you one.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure I'll be seeing you around.
Yeah, see you around. He waves and soon disappears among the cars. I rev my engine, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline, and drive out of the lot. I enter the house and hear laughter coming from the kitchen. I drop my bag on the floor and follow the sounds of my family and the delicious smells of dinner. Hey. I sit at a table and watch Nikki and Uncle Kaito move around the kitchen. They're wearing matching aprons. Looking good, Uncle. That apron really suits you. Brings out your eyes.
That's it, I'm done.
He tears off the apron and tosses it aside.
You said I'd look cool.
Nikki giggles and goes back to the food she's cooking.
You did look cool. Every lady loves a man who can cook.
And I love a lady who cooks for me.
Amen.
Kaito sits beside me. We laugh as Nikki sticks her tongue out of it.
Men.
So what are we having?
Guess.
Oh god, not this again. Kaito laughs.
How was your day, bud?
It was alright.
Yeah? What kind of shenanigans did you get up to?
Nothing major. Had class this morning, checked out my gear after. One of my teammates showed up and we had a practice simulation.
Sounds fun.
It was. I think we'll make a good team.
Who else is on the team?
Cho, myself, and a couple of girls.
Good looking girls?
I shrug. Yeah, I guess. Kaito winks at me and I just shake my head.
And you got your bike back?
Yeah, thank God. At least I won't have to deal with this bus anymore.
Me too.
Keep dreaming.
Whoa, whoa, what happened to your bike?
He somehow managed to park it in the wrong place and it got impounded.
Really? How did you manage to do that?
Ah, long story.
Let's be honest, it was obvious you were going to do something dumb on your first day.
Hey. Uncle Kaito laughs. Nikki shoots me a playful smirk. Nikki places full plates in front of us, then removes her apron and joins us at the table.
What else did you get up to today?
I hung out at the pilot lounge for a bit.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was. I actually learned a lot about this guy named Akira. He's the top tier pilot in the program.
So he's your rival.
Rival?
Yeah, these types of stories always need a villainous rival.
Well, he's actually a pretty nice guy. Well liked.
Really? Is he cute?
How should I know?
Did the girls think he was cute?
I guess so. Nikki beams.
Accomplished, polite, and cute. You could learn a thing from him.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Kaito cleans his plate, then rests a hand on his stomach and lets out a loud belch. Nikki and I blink at him.
I was simply complimenting the chef.
I should do the same. I open my mouth to burp, but Nikki squeals in protest.
Please don't. I'd rather not have them.
Kaito and I laugh as Nikki clears the table. Then Kaito rests a hand on my shoulder.
Sounds like you've had quite the day, bud.
It'll get easier once I'm in the swing of things.
Of course. Want to watch a movie or something before you two head to bed?
I almost say yes, but a long yawn escapes my mouth. I'm pretty fried. I think I might go review some notes, then get to bed early. I've got qualifiers tomorrow.
That's fair. Nikki?
I'll join you when I'm done cleaning.
I'll help you.
Thanks.
I stand up and Kaito and Nikki both wave.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I wave back and head to my room. In my room, I crawl into bed and grab my tablet to review my notes from today's class. I'm only partway through when my eyes grow heavy and I can't read any longer. I flick off the light and close my eyes. As I drift to sleep, I dream of tomorrow's qualifiers.